Night, and we have a lot to talk about. I'm meteorologist Colleen Peterson alongside with Doug Proffitt.
Hello, Colleen. Thanks for letting me be a part of your chat tonight. I've got a lot of questions. As you know, I'm a snow lover.
Yes.
And this is, since you've been in Louisville, this is really the most snow you've had to deal with and forecast. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. So far, we're right in line with at least one model. So which model turned out to be the best one so far, the most accurate?
I think this last system was GFS. You know, it did a really good job with Saturday's system, only saw a few isolated dustings across the river into Indiana. Now, the other models showed it around town, which didn't really happen in a lot of communities. I think with this system, it's going to be very different because it's not really a low-pressure system. It's moisture that's trapped in the jet stream. So what that means is it's going to go where the wind blows. And models have a hard time at nailing exactly where the heaviest of snow will be. But I think consistent runs have really shown around the Tennessee areas.
So what we want to do with this is, Colleen can answer your questions, so go ahead and start posting questions. We're also on our YouTube page live. If you go to the WHS Love YouTube page, go to the live part of that page, and then you can add questions to that. Also on our Facebook page, go ahead and ask questions. Because after all, folks, this coming week, as we begin this coming week, is the 30th anniversary of the winter storm of '94. The timing of this is so amazing, although this isn't nearly as bad as '94. But I think the headlines, and correct me if I'm wrong, on this storm are the extreme winds, the wind speeds, and the wind chills.
Yeah, I think the wind chills is definitely going to be the biggest impact. The cold weather is what we are going to be focusing on. So if you're tuning in on any of our streaming sites, go ahead and leave a comment below. We'll try to get to answers. We have people on Facebook, YouTube, and we're going to get into it because we're going to talk about the impacts. I think the first one we're going to focus on is the frigid temperatures. So we're going to be at 11 degrees and below 32 degrees or lower for 5 days straight. So we'll be below freezing for 5 consecutive days as that Arctic blast heads our way. All right, so let's talk about the radar right now. Quickly talking about the rain that we're seeing out there, this low pressure system brought a lot of snow to Chicago. We did not get snow, however, take a look at our radar right now.
I don't know if you can fix this. A lot of people are saying that the audio is echoing really bad. Maybe we can fix that.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Julia and Vicky, for pointing that out.
I think we had 2 audio sources, so hopefully that this fixed it.
Hey,
let us know if it's fixed, because hopefully...
And keep posting your questions, and we'll also get to your memories of the winter storm of '94, but I know this is... You're going to show us right now what's happening. I see some snow on this live radar, which thrills me to no end, but I just walked outside the building and I didn't see any flakes coming down.
You know, it's turning out blue on the radar in some spots, but I'll tell you, that's just the radar picking up bigger water droplets. That means it's falling as snow, but melting as rain. So it is still falling as rain out there, even though we are seeing some blue pop up. But I think here over the next few hours, there are going to be some scattered snow showers. Might create a dusting here or there, but low impacts, and it's not going to be widespread.
Okay, yay, give me 5. You fixed the echoing.
Thank you for letting us know.
And
we fixed it.
Madison says, Colleen, do you think it will snow any time in the next week, and how much?
I do think that it's going to snow, and I think the biggest chance will be Monday into Tuesday. Now, it's a tricky forecast. We'll get you to that forecast accumulation of how much snow we think and where it's going to head. But really, Monday into Tuesday would be that highest chance if we're going to see something.
So, and we're not talking winter storm of '94 snow here. Now the cold, folks, if you remember, it went down to 20 below zero after the winter storm of '94, which was the holiday week of '94. But these wind chills are going to be something we haven't experienced since what, last Christmas time?
Yeah, it is going to be very, very cold. And talking about the wind chills, Sunday morning it's going to feel like -5 degrees. It is going to be very cold, staying dry throughout Saturday and Sunday, feeling like 20 degrees Monday afternoon. And then yet again, Tuesday morning, this is the wind chills in that forecast, -1 degrees, 0 in Shepherdsville. It is a very cold forecast for a good stretch of time. Let's go ahead and get to that forecast model real quick. We'll see a few scattered snow showers as we head overnight tonight through the morning tomorrow. Saturday morning, we're going to be in the mid-20s. I do want to talk about the chance of seeing some black ice real quick on overpasses tomorrow morning. So any Saturday morning commute, the roads are wet from all the rain. So just know that we could see a few slick spots on the road. Then we're going to get very cold starting Saturday afternoon, highs below 32 degrees. Sunday, waking up to 13 degrees with wind chill values below 0. So even though we'll be 9-10 degrees in the morning, it's going to feel like -5 and 0. So very cold forecast. Looking at your 7-day temperature trend, 34 for your high on Saturday, only 20 on Sunday, 23 on Monday. It is a cold stretch. I mean, this could be the coldest week that we see all winter long. So there's things you need to think about. Too cold for pets. If you have any animals that are outside, even in outside bathrooms, you could put straw, or if you have any barn, straw is a really good insulator.
Let's bring up
pets.
the straw thing, because that came out of the news conference with the mayor's office today. Louisville Metro Animal Services tomorrow between noon and 4 is going to offer free straw at the Louisville Animal Shelter at its location. And you can get the straw. It's for animals that need to stay outside. Like a lot of people have pet llamas here in town, and there's sheep that graze in different spots.
Goats. There's a lot of goats around town. I feel like around March.
So if you have an animal that you just can't come into the home,
yeah,
the Metro Animal Services wants to help you. And again, you go to the Louisville Animal Shelter between noon and 4 tomorrow.
That's really important information. So if the air temperature is 5 degrees and we have some wind, it's going to feel like -13. So that is just way too cold of weather to have. Oopsies, wrong button. To have any
now
pets out there.
That's not exactly the most scientific of sayings for a meteorologist.
All right, so also things that you need to prep your home and your vehicle if you're worried about the cold weather. Insulate your attic. Also check smoke detectors. Never use an extension cord for space heaters. Doug, you were talking about the past week or even the past few weeks, there's been a lot of house fires due to heat sources.
Donovan Sims with the Louisville Fire Department today was also at that news conference, and he went through the space heater safety rules. And of course, in this community, it's been a long time, Colleen, since I've seen this many fatal fires, not just in Metro Louisville, but we've had them in southern Indiana and in parts of the region around the WHAS 11 viewing area. And I thought one thing he brought up immediately was just don't plug a space heater into an extension cord. Never do that. He said, again, plug it right into the wall, and also make sure it's not around any hanging curtains, any old socks in the room, that kind of thing, and try to get the new modern ones, which will turn off if they're kicked over or knocked over by, kids running through the house or something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely important information. You want to have fire safety. Let's talk about that snow chance. So if you're tuning in, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we'll try to get through them. So timing out that forecast model, we are going to stay dry tomorrow afternoon through Sunday afternoon, even Sunday night where it's trending drier. This is going to be a very difficult forecast because it's not necessarily a low pressure system. It is moisture trapped in our atmosphere, and we have already Arctic air. So almost think of like an Arctic storm maybe with a lot of snow in that forecast. Now where it's going to snow the heaviest, I think from Memphis to Nashville, even up to Bowling Green, those are the chances of seeing the highest snow.
So this is a southern storm from what you're showing us right now on the radar.
It is a southern storm. So instead of fighting
Nashville's
Indiana,
going to get more than us?
I know. Isn't that crazy? We can never win here. It's always Indiana that gets it, and now it's Tennessee that gets the snow. So it's off farther to the south Monday morning through the afternoon. But this forecast model shows the highest snow totals in our area south of Louisville. But look at this. This long range model, 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. I think when that moisture gets on the other side of that jet stream, we'll have that opportunity to get snow here as well. So it might be Tuesday morning of seeing the most impacts. We're just going to have to wait to get a little bit closer. But let's go ahead and break down the accumulation forecast. We're not talking numbers. We're not talking numbers just yet. We're talking chances, because
So what
4
is
days
this?
out.
What is this map showing us right here?
It's-
This all this blue on there.
The darker blue shows the higher accumulations, where it's likely going to dump snow. It's been fairly consistent with model runs. Where it's uncertain is where it says minor accumulations, where we are here in Louisville. I think it is possible to maybe get an inch here in Louisville, maybe 1 to 2 inches. Locally could be higher, farther south of E-Town. So the farther south you go from Louisville, the higher chance of seeing snow. This is not guaranteeing that we're going to see snow here in Louisville. We are 4 days out. It's a tricky forecast to even talk about this 4 days out. But since we're certain that we're going to get something, we want to let you know ahead of time. And I think this is a good way, just talking about those chances. So know that this could change. We're not talking guarantee, but I just want to let you know, hey, the models are trending south.
Now, Monday is the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, so schools are out.
That's good.
As far as JCPS is concerned, they announced today that they will make a decision by 5 a.m. Tuesday morning, on whether they're going to go back to school. Now, if they don't go back to school, it's not a sledding day, or it's not an off day for kids. It's going to be an NTI day. They sent the Chromebooks home.
Sledding with your book in your hand.
That's right. So JCPS said today they've got 10 NTI days they can use, and they plan to use them every single time the kids might be out. Monday, most offices are closed, so there's a concern about warming shelters. I did get a text from the city late today. They did not have anything really open on Monday. They've since made a decision to open 2 different places. The Northwest Neighborhood Place and the South Central Neighborhood Place will be open Monday now from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, Northwest Neighborhood Place and the South Central Neighborhood Place open Monday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you happen to lose heat or you happen to lose power. Colleen, we had an enormous power outage for about maybe an hour today. It was while we were on the air with our 5 o'clock news. It started at Audubon Park and it went down to Okolona, and it was 8,000 customers. LG&E got that on back very fast. Right now there's maybe just 100 customers in Louisville without, but we can see what happens with these winds kicking up. The power can go out.
Yeah, and it goes out pretty quickly. So yeah, that was around 3 to 5 p.m. when we were starting to see wind gusts up to 40, 45 miles per hour, even here in Jefferson County. Thankfully, that wind is starting to die down. 35 right now it's gusting, and it's going to stay in that range. I think the worst of the wind was earlier in the afternoon. So thankfully, there were only minor impacts. There was nothing crazy, no widespread power outages. The forecast showed a greater than 50, so it could have been far worse. So we really lucked out with that wind throughout the day today.
We have one viewer wants to know if since you're talking about it being a southern snowstorm, is there a chance that areas south of Louisville, Bullitt County, and areas south of us, the metro, could get more snow than downtown Louisville?
I think that's very likely at this point, regardless if it's only a dusting and we see nothing. I think the farther south you go, the highest chance of seeing snow.
And so this again, the approach of the snowfall is what's the timing on that and what day?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to that forecast model. It's really been consistent with the timing. We're not going to see anything on Sunday. In fact, it's going to start to fire up first over the central state of Arkansas, then enter the state of Tennessee late Sunday night into Monday morning. So for us, Monday at 5 o'clock, this is the first few model runs that we're getting with this higher res model, meaning about a few hours ago, we're now able to see a model that's a little bit more high tech than the longer range model. So 5 o'clock in the morning, we could even start to see some of those scattered snow showers, could dump some snow in some spots. But the good thing about this forecast, we're not really expecting strong winds with this system. So that is really good when we're talking about snow.
When it brings in the snow.
When it brings in the snow, we're not talking about the winds.
Because from later tonight till tomorrow is the strong winds.
Yes.
Let's match this up. Let's try to match this up. Just got a message from Buchanan, Conda. Snowing in Garfield, Kentucky. That's Breckenridge County. That's just
so
off
we
to the
have
west
confirmation of snow out there.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Buchanan, for that.
Yeah, we love seeing live reports because we're able to verify what we're seeing on the radar.
Let's zero in on old Breckenridge County there. That'd be
technology. It's loading. Well, the snow's breaking the radar, I guess.
So if they've got it in Breckenridge County, which of course is not far from Louisville, Could we see some snow flurries up here, or is it just not going to happen?
No, I think it's possible to see scattered snow flurries here overnight tonight.
So by the time we come on the air at 11 with the night team and then leave, could we have snow departing as we leave here?
We sure can. Just a few flurries.
It's
Don't
fantastic.
get too excited, Doug.
Hey, I'm okay with flurries. You know, last year we had a snow drought. Well, you know the total for last year. What was it?
I think it was
like 1.3 or something
like
that.
Oh yeah, 1.2 or 1.3 for the 2023 year.
Okay.
Yeah, not the whole season, but
not
for the 23 year. I think the whole season we only got 4 inches.
And so our average for an average winter in Louisville for the years leading up to this has been I thought it was 13, 14 inches. I think
13, 14 inches. Yeah,
that's right.
Around that range.
And of course, that's not in one big dump. That is spread over the entire winter months.
Yes, it is spread over the entire winter months. It looks like our system.
People are asking, what about a forecast for Nelson County? Of course, that's Bardstown, and Hardin County, that'd be Elizabethtown. So as far as snow is concerned, what do you think, Colleen, for those two very important south of Louisville?
Yeah, so our system is actually down right now. It's acting up. So sorry about that, but we can verbally talk about it. What was the question again?
Your thoughts for snow for both Nelson County, which of course Bardstown's the seat, and then Hardin County, Elizabethtown.
Okay, so Nelson, Bardstown, if you're tuning in, hello. I think you have higher chances of seeing snow compared to us here in Louisville. However, the impacts are still going to be low to medium because a few inches potentially. We're not talking too much about accumulation because it's just 4 days out, but it is trending. The farther south you go in Louisville, the higher chance of seeing snow. That's all I'm really going to say as of right now. We haven't really gone to snow totals because we're more than 4 days or 4 days out. Once we head towards tomorrow night, I think we just need 24 more hours to have more certainty of how much. But what we can tell you, the farther south you go in Louisville into Tennessee, they're going to get more snow than us. Nashville's going to get more snow than us, which is crazy because we should get more snow.
We should walk through for folks what you guys sort of face as you're putting these forecasts together. At one point earlier in the week, and you wouldn't let us talk about it, but one model was saying up as much as a half foot of snow. And that's how those models can put all kinds of things out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point to talk about. A week ago, it was saying a half foot. That's why we don't talk about it ahead of time, because models just don't do a good job far in advance with snow systems. So it goes up, it goes down, it goes north, it goes south. It's kind of like forecasting tropics. You know, I'm from Florida, and the school I went to, Florida State, we focused a lot about it and uncertainty and communicating, just that it changes. And up to 48 hours out, it can change. Like a low pressure can go north to south. And that's the same thing with winter weather. I mean, that moisture could go farther off north or farther off south. I mean, the forecast models can't predict the future to a T. Technology has advanced so much, and since the past 30 years, that snowstorm 30 years ago, we have so much more technology to be able to even talk about totals.
But you've only been here a short time, but you do know what Bella Via is. I know that.
Of course. Should we pull it up on YouTube? You gave me the rundown of what it is.
You might as well play it because your computer locked up.
I know, my computer locked up.
So you know what Bella Via is, and we'll probably be hearing it next week. Of course, that's the famous snow music here. Now, okay, Colleen, a couple of things that the Metro Public Works folks addressed in that news conference would be spot checking icing. Do you expect icing to be a problem in any way? And by the way, David Rhodes has posted on our Facebook page, they have very strong winds in Campbellsville right now. And you know, that's down south of us in Taylor County. So are those stronger winds coming up now, going to be approaching Louisville in a few hours?
I think the winds are going to stay in that range, 25 to 35 miles per hour overnight tonight. We could get gusts up higher, and we're getting our system back, so I'm able to show you that forecast wind gust. But yes, it is going to be windy overnight tonight, but I think the worst of the wind was earlier in the afternoon, but that advisory will stay in place overnight tonight. So if you have any driving plans, just be careful on the roads, because we're also going to see some icy spots because we're going to get below freezing tonight and the roads are wet. So hazardous travel tomorrow morning.
Coming up at 11 on our night team broadcast, Colleen's also going to break down what we're going to expect to see on Saturday morning. A lot of people have plans. They want to get out. Give me the picture at 8 a.m. Saturday. Oh, now you've got some interesting maps back up.
Yeah.
So 8 a.m. Saturday, if people are going to have to try to get their kids maybe to basketball games or indoor gyms and that kind of thing, what are the winds going to be like, and the road conditions?
Yeah, so winds will be around 25 to 35 miles per hour tomorrow morning. But again, if you have early morning travels tomorrow, we're also going to see the roads get a little icy in some spots. So that forecast model walking you through hour by hour, this is at midnight where we are going to see some scattered snow showers, a dusting in some spots. Your neighborhood, you might be the lucky one that gets a pretty view.
So take a look at what Colleen's showing you right now, folks. This is at midnight. This is our Futurecast projecting the future. And we also had a question from Kathy McAdams about Corydon, Indiana. So it's good to focus on southern Indiana for a while too, Colleen. Let's talk about that as we're looking at midnight now, coming up in just a little while from now.
Yeah, scattered snow showers around midnight. Low impacts though when we're talking about snowfall totals. A dusting in some spots, maybe a tenth of an inch accumulating. But by 4 o'clock in the morning, most of those snow showers will move on out. This is your 7 o'clock in the morning. Saturday morning, we have temperatures in the mid-20s. And we want to highlight on the top left of the screen, black ice on overpasses. It's not going to be widespread ice on the roads, but the spots that are wet and froze overnight could produce black ice on elevated surfaces or maybe shaded neighborhood streets. Never good to speed down neighborhood streets because ice could be hidden in shaded areas.
So Tamim is saying, I'm traveling from Louisville to Ohio. He's not telling us when, but if you've got to travel and go to the Northeast, what would you have to tell him?
I would wait until tomorrow midday because the ice will start to melt by, let's see, we get above freezing, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And also there will likely be snow crews out there in the morning helping the ice situation.
The snow team and the state, they're ready to go.
Yeah, so I would just probably not go before sunrise. I think around past 9 a.m. it'll be okay to hit the roads. And we're going to stay dry all weekend long. We're not talking about snow chances until we head towards Monday and into Tuesday. So if you're heading to Ohio, you're okay through Sunday night. Let's talk about that radar.
Yeah, we were talking about the winds, the very strong winds being reported in Campbellsville right now.
Yes, Campbellsville. Let's pull it up, what we're gusting up to right now. If the system, okay, good. To 35 miles per hour. So you kind of see that yellow on the map there. That's showing stronger wind gusts farther south.
So this map is fascinating to me, Colleen. Explain the wind direction. So look, folks, at this map. You get down there to Columbia. We're talking getting close to Lake Cumberland country. That's 31 miles per hour winds. Campbellsville, as Colleen said, 35. Munfordville, 28. But look up to Bedford, Indiana. That's 16. Normally we think of our cold fronts coming from the north. Why is it lower up there and stronger to the south?
Because that front is still trying to work its way through. So low pressure moves counterclockwise. We're getting that southwest wind on the backside of that low. So because that low is off to the north, we're getting that southwest wind. And that's why that wind was such a great threat today, because we are just in that perfect spot to get that southwest wind that really gusts and could brought power outages across Jefferson County earlier today. So right now, Campbellsville, someone commented, gusting up to 35 miles per hour right now. We also had a report of some snow. Someone reported Breckenridge County. And you're exactly right. Over in Hardinsburg right now.
Yes. Also getting a report here on our comments. Snow in Hardinsburg, Kentucky, too. Once again, we encourage you to post your comments on the Facebook page. We're reading them live. And Tamim writes back and he says, thank you for that travel forecast from Louisville to Ohio. He appreciates that.
Safe travels. It is going to be a very cold forecast, and hazardous travels more so on Monday and Tuesday.
Why don't we take a little tour of the region right now with the live radar, Colleen? Let's show everybody where it is snowing, where it's still raining. What an interesting line it's showing right now. You see the white, that being the snow. Obviously the green is the rain. Is all of this going to turn over here momentarily?
Yeah, once our temperatures get cold enough, it's going to start to switch over from rain to snow. So it's colder over in Hardinsburg. We're always a little bit warmer around the metro and areas closer to pavement. So more rural areas are cooling off quicker. So Hardinsburg right now seeing some light snow showers out there. Hey, if you can get a video of it, if you're tuning in right now, send it to my email, cpeterson at WHAS11.com. That's C Peterson at WHAS11.com. I could show it on the 11 o'clock show night team. Love to show some videos of some flurries. We're also starting to see that transition, probably still falling as rain right now around Fort Knox, Radcliffe, starting to make that transition off right around Flaherty. So these are some smaller cities that we're calling out, but also I grew up in a smaller city that was never mentioned on air, so that's why I always like to mention those small little gems, because I always got so excited when the meteorologist was like, Grant, Florida, and I'm like, yes, that's where I'm from.
I've been to Flaherty many times.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, unfortunately it was for tornadoes that hit Flaherty for quite a while after that. The folks are great down there, and again, I guess people are tuning in at different points. Bobby is asking how much snow is expected next week. One thing we can tell you, Bobby, and Colleen is detailing that, is it's not going to be a lot of snow. But it's going to be enough probably to get us all of us snow lovers excited.
Yeah. Don't get excited just yet, because it might not happen here in the metro. The farther south you go, the higher chance. But I'm thinking it is a little bit more likely than the past few systems to see measurable snow.
One thing, too, we should talk about is the temperatures for the next 7 days.
Yes, that is going to be the biggest takeaway. Let's talk about that temperature trend. Starting out tomorrow morning, after seeing those scattered snow flurries, we're going to be in the mid-20s. And by the time we get towards the afternoon, Saturday night through Thursday morning, we're not going to get above freezing. This is 4.5 straight days of very, very dangerously cold temperatures and even colder wind chills. So temperatures will actually be in the single digits Sunday morning, 7 degrees in Bedford, 11 in Scottsburg, 13 degrees here in Louisville Sunday morning. But this is what it's going to feel like at that same time on Sunday morning. You had plans to go to Publix, Doug.
Oh, did I?
You did.
Golly.
-5 degrees.
Well, I'm curious like everybody else. I'm definitely not going tomorrow when every store here will be running for bread and milk, but I'm going to try to sneak in there. I am interested because I grew up in the supermarket business. My dad owned the old Gateway store on Taylor Boulevard in the Hazelwood Shopping Center. My brother and I worked there in the summers until, thank goodness, I got an internship here, and I stuck in the meat department in the summer times anymore. But my big thing is I never learned how to bag groceries. I always put the bread first on the bottom and would smash it.
Oh, Doug.
Furious, my dad got mad because I always smashed the landlady's bread when she came through. But
on purpose or what?
Grew up working in the South End there, and that store is still there and owned by a great young family, the Oswines, and it's now a Save-A-Lot. Let me ask you this. Tori is asking you a question, Colleen. What about freezing ice or an ice storm? Now, we're not even calling this an ice storm, are we?
No, we're not concerned with ice. Thankfully, temperatures are too cold to even consider ice. So freezing rain typically is what happens when we have an ice storm, when we have widespread freezing rain, where it falls as rain and then it freezes once it hits the surface. Thankfully, we're too cold to see any ice out there. It is just going to be snow if we happen to see anything. So crazy wind chills, very cold temperatures, as well as the chance of seeing some snow. And that's in the order of impact. Snow is at the bottom when we're talking about impacts and how cold it's going to be, and wind chills are at the top. So thankfully, ice is out of the question. The only period of seeing ice is tomorrow morning because it's really wet out there. We've seen a lot of rain, and we're seeing some scattered snow showers. That could freeze on overpasses overnight tomorrow. So thankfully, not an ice storm in that forecast.
Well, as we get ready to come on at 11 o'clock, what are you looking ahead in the next 30 minutes for people to expect to see?
Yeah, so I'm going to get the updated forecast model of the snow chances tonight, because I'm also, out of the corner of my eye, looking at the regional model, and you kind of see what's off to the west.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
This is St. Louis, and just look at that, just north of Paducah.
See, this is what can happen. Moisture can just fire up in the atmosphere. We get cold enough, and you get a swath of snow. And you kind of see how that's kind of following that track there. So
that looks like it's heading this way. Well, yes. It sure does. Look at that arrow you put on there.
Yeah, it looks like it's heading our way. So I'm going to have to adjust the forecast model, seeing if sometimes the forecast model doesn't even pick up that.
Do you think that's reaching the ground?
I think so. I could pull up a live feed of St. Louis, actually.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Let's see what's going on as we take a look. So this is fascinating, folks. You see a forecast in the works as it's happening. Colleen has just spotted that on the radar off to the west of us in St. Louis, and as you can see the big red arrow, she's drawn it. It's going to head now, she thinks, this way, so she's checking it out to see if that's going to hold true for us by, I don't think that wouldn't be here by 11 o'clock, would it, Colleen?
No, that would be early in the morning.
Early in the morning?
Well, very early. I'm talking around, let me see.
So it'd be enough for...
St. Louis is about 100 miles.
Well, it's 3 hours away.
3 hours away? Okay,
Yeah.
Then I would say 3.5 hours from now, so around 2 to 4 a.m.
Okay, so to about maybe 2 to 4 a.m. It could put a little bit of dusting, although we don't know how much is coming down out of the sky there.
Yeah, it is snowing in St. Louis right now, so I'm going to play it out live.
You're going to show those pictures?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting ready to show you live from St. Louis, so it's going to match up perfectly with what you see on the screen there on our live Max HD radar. Oh, wow, look at that. So look at the traffic. That's what I always like to look for first. How's traffic moving? St. Louis is a pretty good snow town.
You know, they're driving through it. It looks like they're having pretty good speeds on it. Not a lot of people on the roads. I don't think this is whiteout conditions. So I don't think it's going to be too crazy if we do see that swath of snow, which in fact, looking at that radar and doing radar analysis, it looks like it's heading our way. So Doug's getting excited over here because we might see more snow than expected tonight.
Cool. I'm gonna go into the newsroom and tell our night team producer Dewey that we got to show St. Louis live.
We got to kick out Chicago and put in St. Louis.
Maybe you can do that. It's probably easier than that. So
I could.
Here's where we stand, folks. We really appreciate your questions because Colleen now has to take the next 30 minutes to get ready for our television newscast on WHAS 11. And she and I will come along next week sometime with another one of these Facebook Lives. We're also on YouTube.
Yeah.
Appreciate your questions.
Appreciate
I thought there were some good ones tonight.
Yeah, and if you have any lingering questions, you can go ahead and feel free to reach out to me or Doug on Facebook, and we'll answer them as best as we can. It's going to be a big forecast next week with big cold air, so we're going to make sure to keep you updated and safe out there.
Well, this was fun. I used to do this with Ben, and of course, as you all know, Ben Pine has now gone to Good Morning Kentuckiana. That gives him more time with his family in the evenings, and we have Colleen Peterson and Christina San Juan. Colleen is with you every night at 5 o'clock and on the night team at 11 o'clock. So that's great. We're glad to have you here at 11.
Thanks. I love it. You know, I love the night team. Going from mornings to night, it was great.
You transitioned pretty well. For a
Thank
person
you.
who used to get here at 3 in the morning.
I now go to bed at 3 in the morning. Yeah. And I sleep way too much now. All right.
So we'll be updating those snow totals and everything else for you coming up in 30 minutes. Hope you'll join us on WHAS 11.